Hello everyone. Today I'll be talking about the Second Battle of Bull Run, also known as the Second Battle of Manassas. The Second Battle of Manassas, also known as Second Battle of Bull Run, took place from August 28th to August 30th, 1862 in Prince William County, Virginia, near Manassas Junction. On August 28th, 1862, Robert E. Lee sent General Thomas Jackson to a Union column near Bronner's Farm in Virginia. This was to draw attention to the area and add pressure to Pope's movements of protecting Washington. On his way there, Jackson won at Cedar Mountain, which boosted the Confederates' momentum. During this battle, Jackson flanked, capturing the Union supply depot at Manassas Junction, starting a railroad defense there. On August 29th, 1862, the Pope-led Union forces attacked the defense set up by Jackson. However, just that day, General Longstreet had arrived with 25,000 Confederate troops, meaning on August 30th, whenever Pope renewed attacks against the Confederate forces, Longstreet counterattacked, devastating the Union. To conclude the battle, the Confederates won. Robert E. Lee successfully destroyed the Union in this battle. Now, you might be wondering, why did this battle take place? Whenever Lincoln created the Army of Virginia under Pope to protect Washington and relieve pressure on McClellan's Peninsula campaign, Lee wanted to hit him before McClellan arrived to help. So, Lee sent Jackson to counter Pope's move. During this battle, the 5th New York Volunteer Infantry suffered very high casualties in very short amounts of time. With only 400 to 500 soldiers, the infantry suffered 117 dead soldiers in only 10 minutes. From this battle, 5 Union soldiers gained the Medal of Honor. Not a single general died during this battle. However, 3 Union generals and 6 Confederate generals were wounded. After this battle, Major General Fitz John Porter was court-martialed for disobeying direct orders from the Union. This battle cemented Lee as one of the best strategists ever. After this battle, Pope was removed from command because of his failure in battle. This battle increased the Confederate confidence for the Maryland campaign for them to continue. What were some mistakes that were made during this battle? Well, I'll tell you. Pope entirely misread Confederate movements. On top of this, Pope received word that Longstreet may have arrived at the Confederate-held railroad. However, he chose to ignore the rumors and instead attack anyways. Pope also attacked repeatedly an extremely strong defense with not so strong of an offense. The communication between Pope and many other generals, especially Fitz John Porter, was terrible. What were some strategies used by Confederates? Again, I'll tell you. Jackson pulled an amazingly executed flank on the Union to capture the supply depot. Jackson also created an extremely strong railroad defense to hold this supply depot. This also held the largest counterattack in all of the war by Longstreet. How does this compare to the first battle? Well, both battles were in fact won by the Confederates. This time, instead of Beauregard, Lee was in command, which made this battle way more organized than the first, but also came with way more casualties. And I'll tell you about the casualties. There were 21,760 casualties in total. 14,462 casualties from the Union. Approximately 1,747 dead 8,452 wounded, 4,265 missing and captured. However, in the Confederates, only 7,298 casualties, nearly half of the Union, with only 1,096 killed and 6,202 wounded. This cemented the Second Battle of Bull Run as the 8th bloodiest battle of the Civil War. This battle also allowed for Robert E. Lee's first northern invasion of the war, known as the Maryland Campaign of 1862, from September 2nd to September 4th of 1862. "55-year-old Robert E. Lee, Major General Thomas Stonewall Jackson, 38-year-old, and Major General James Longstreet, as a 41-year-old, led the Confederates, while 40-year-old General John Pope and 36-year-old George McClellan led the Union forces. George McClellan led the Army of the Potomac, while John Pope led the Union Army. There were many different locations during this battle. On August 28th, Bronner's Farm was used. On August 29th, there was an unfinished railroad grade held by Jackson. On August 30th, Upton Crossroads and Chinn Ridge. Longstreet's assault during this battle was way more than Pickett's charge in Gettysburg. Longstreet used 30,000 men, while Pickett only used 13,000, nearly tripling the amount used in each battle. My presentation. My little flaps here fold out, each one demonstrating something different. This one right here was the comparison of the first battle and the consequences. This one, what was the Second Battle of Bull Run? This one, what led to this battle? This one, who led the Second Battle of Bull Run? And this one, who won and why did they win? Overall, the Second Battle of Bull Run was a 3-day battle that the Confederates won using many different strategies. The Union used reckless techniques. Thank you.